Welcome to the program KlausCondicio. So we would like to ask you a few questions about your attraction. First of all, if you can give us a brief description about it and maybe some numbers. We read that you had the preview. I don't know how many visitors you had, how many you expect. Just give us an introduction, please.
The Las Vegas Mob Experience, it's an interactive attraction. It also is supported by thousands of artifacts from the famous gangsters who were involved. The Las Vegas Mob Experience, it chronicles the beginnings of the mob during the Prohibition era, and its rise and its eventual fall is how it related to Las Vegas. We opened in preview this week, and we're going to stay open in previews till our official grand opening March 29th.
Okay.
We've had tremendous response, huge lines. We're capable of accommodating probably up to 10,000 people a day.
Oh, wow. Big number.
100 people an hour. We're not accommodating that many right now. We probably, just because we're in preview mode, have been anywhere each day between 1,000 and 2,000 people. And we're letting people in for free right now with the charitable donation of $10. So it's not free, but we're asking for a charitable donation. The people don't have to give it. But the gangsters that are featured in the mob experience include Meyer Lansky and Benjamin Siegel, who were two of the main people responsible for building Las Vegas as what it is today. We also have Sam Giancana, Tony Spilatro as well, which Tony Spilatro was one of the gangsters who was, responsible kind of for the decline in bringing street crime to Las Vegas, and was eventually, one of the reasons the mob was kind of pushed out of Las Vegas. This attraction is an immersive environment. You interact with actual actors, and you make decisions that will ultimately determine your final fate at the end. Also have celebrity gangster guides who appear in hologram form. This attraction is very technologically advanced. Where like we said, we have holograms where you can see Benjamin Siegel, Meyer Lansky, but we also have celebrity gangster guides who basically take you through this and explain the history of the mob in Las Vegas. The celebrity gangster guides are James Caan, Mickey Rourke, Frank Vincent, Steve Sharippa, and Tony Sirico. The last three were they were in the program in America, The Sopranos.
Okay, we know.
Recognized. So that's sort of in a nutshell. And like I said, you make decisions as you interact with our various actors, and in the end, we have a final fate where guests of the attraction, you could either get made.
All right.
You could go into witness protection. You could get arrested. There's many scenarios that can happen. It's a very fun attraction, but it's also supported by a large artifact collection. We had purchased the estates of several of these gangsters, and we have many just great artifacts.
All right. And is it a violent experience or just fun, as you said?
No, we don't glorify this at all. What we're doing is we're basically just telling it, the story of the mob of how it is, and we've also had first-hand accounts from the family members who are involved.
Okay.
Like I said, Millicent Siegel, the daughter of Benjamin Siegel, she's 80 years old now, but she's a wealth of knowledge, and just hearing the stories she tells about her father firsthand. Okay. It's Benjamin Siegel was chronicled as being a ruthless gangster, but it's interesting hearing a different side from his daughter.
Right.
We're not, like I said, we're not glorifying these people. We're not trying to vilify them. We're just telling, the truth.
Yep.
And yes, some of these men were very violent, but they were also, very caring family men. Some of them would go and steal, but they were also very charitable. And, many were very religious, but they would also go out and, kill.
Yeah.
So, but we're telling the story as it is, and the neat thing is having the stories from the family members to find out a difference, what they were like in their real lives.
All right.
Never hears. You see the stories in Hollywood, but it's Hollywood takes liberty with the stories. So we feel like we're getting the true stories of the family members of what they were, what their their parents, their grandparents were behind the scenes, which it's very interesting.
Okay, and did you collect information and material only from mobster family members, or did you involve also victims, relatives? Did you have any reactions about, the family of the victims, basically? This is something that we didn't read in newspapers, and we were interested because in Italy mafia and mob is real a problem, and we couldn't open an attraction about it because there are so many victims involved. What do you think about this?
Well, the mob families we're dealing with are from people that have been long since passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't heard anything regarding the victims, and a lot of these people the family members that are involved in our project have never spoken up before, have never spoken to the media. And the reason they are talking to us is because we're doing this in a respectful way. We're not, like I said, not glorifying it. We're not doing anything. We're telling the true story of who these people were. And, it's also been an opportunity for them to tell, hey, what their parents was really like. For instance, Vincent Spilatro, Tony Spilatro, was linked to many, many murders.
Mm-hmm.
His son, who's involved with our project, doesn't deny that did, but he tells a different story. And it is an interesting question that you brought up about hearing from the victims. We really haven't. And it's funny, being in Las Vegas, you hear people who are a little bit older who were here when the mob was in Las Vegas. And they say it was a better place when the mob was here.
Really?
You didn't have the street crime. You didn't have things. And the street crime came more along the lines when Tony Spilatro came to town. And we chronicle that in the experience. It was a real crime wave when he came. And before that, Vegas was a much more classy place. And you hear, like, Millicent Seagull talk about Benjamin Seagull and what he envisioned Las Vegas. And it was more, you don't get the, they talk about you don't get the service you used to get back when, the mob. It was a lot more classy. They wouldn't be what it is today, where you have a little more, you see kids in casinos, and it's back in the day, people got all dressed up in tuxedos, and it was a different world,
All right. So basically you are saying that according to these old people, it was better before, when the mob existed, than now. Is it right?
They say before the corporations took over, they said it was better when the casinos were mob run.
All right, this is really interesting. And what about any...
In Las Vegas, you get that a lot.
All right.
Funny, and you hear that, and it's the corporations took over. They don't seem to care as much about the customers, whereas when the mob was running it, they were more into personalizing your experience in a casino.
Okay.
There's a great book, if you want to hear. There's a great book that I read. It's called "When the Mob Ran Vegas," and it tells about this, and it's very interesting.
Okay. And are you going to have or open in the future any sections about the organized crime in other parts of America or in the rest of the world, or you only are going to be focused on what happened in Las Vegas?
We tell the story, like I said, this chronicles the story of the mob's beginnings in America with, because when the mob made their money off Prohibition, that's when the mob really had its rise in America. And it just, like I said, it chronicles the mob through its history in Las Vegas, when it first came out to Las Vegas. When the mob came out to Las Vegas, when Benjamin Seagull and Meyer Lansky came out here, they were looking for a way to go legitimate. A lot of people after look at the Kennedys back in the day. They were rum runners. They made money off Prohibition. The Brockmans, they were able to go legitimate. When Benjamin Seagull and Meyer Lansky, they were looking as an opportunity to go legitimate. It didn't work. I mean, they made their money. The mob made their money off the skim. But I mean, that's originally when the mob came out here. That's what they were kind of looking to do.
Yeah, and let's go back for a second to victims. Why do you think that, or why, in your opinion, do you think that in books, movies, TV shows, mobsters and gangsters are more interesting than the victims? You mean you are basically making a business on this issue, and as we said before, no one cares basically about victims. Why do you think people are attracted about this and they don't think about the others who died? What can you say?
You know what? We're not, like I said, we're not like glorifying what these people did. We admit and we talk about they did horrible things. We're here to tell the history about it. We're telling the truth. I mean, yes, a lot of bad things happen to people, but we're not, like I said, we're not glorifying that at all. We are telling an accurate depiction.
Yeah, I understand, but don't you think that maybe you glorify them? This is just my point, okay? You glorify them by telling just about them and not about who died in that. If you don't have anything in memory of maybe also about FBI or some members of the law enforcement who fought against the crime.
We have in the area of the downfall, we do have a section devoted to the law enforcement side. As well, but I mean, as far as the victims, no, we it's horrible what's happened to people who are victims of organized crime, and as I said, we don't have a section devoted to that. But like I said, we're not vilifying anybody either. It's horrible what happened, and many innocent people have been victims of organized crime. This is just where like we said, we're talking about how the mob related to Las Vegas. This is dedicated to what the mob did to Las Vegas. A lot of people are fascinated about the mob. I mean,
and why do you think so? Why are they fascinating?
I don't know why people in general are fascinated by it. It's interesting. It's a very interesting story. It's a part of history. So what we're telling is a part of history, and a lot of bad things happen to a lot of people. But
okay. And what about the connection with Italy and Italian families? Is it strong in your exhibition? Do you reinforce the idea that mob is linked with Italy?
We really, like I said, we don't tell much about the stories going back to Italy. The story of beginnings of our experience, it started at Ellis Island and worked its way to the eventual mob being pushed out of Las Vegas. So, like we said, we tell the bad side too about the mob and some of the horrible things that happened here, and the mob eventually being pushed out of Las Vegas with the takeover of corporate America.
Okay, and so no link with Italy or Italian mob families, maybe who came there in the past?
We do have some Italian. We have like I said, the Spalatros and as a representative with Luciano. And we do have other gangsters who are featured in the experience as well. But it's no. I know your base is Italy, but there's no general connection. Focus on Italy. It's focused on how the mob related to Las Vegas and how the mob made their money in Las Vegas. It's telling the story of
And do you have the perception that
Las Vegas would not be what it is today without the mob's involvement? It really wouldn't.
Okay, but do you have the perception that there is a strong link with Italy or not? With those families who were from Italy, basically.
I mean, it's common knowledge that but the mob,
So the stereotype of Italians as mafiosi, do you feel that? Or?
We also heavily focus on Meyer Lansky and Bugsy Siegel, who were Jewish.
Yeah, they are not Italian, of course.
I mean, it's not focusing on Italy. As I said several times, we're focusing on Las Vegas.
Only on Las Vegas. Okay. Look, I think that you gave us a good view of what you have. I would like to thank you for your time.